Did she evict you in October? She sent me an eviction letter. Yes. A landlord tired of waiting for rent money. And you received no money for November. Correct. What happened in November? November. My money was stolen out of my account. Now this tenant says she helped herself. She's the only one that had my information. My money was gone. She's the only one that had my pen, my social, everything. She stole my money and then tried to evict me for it. Judge Judy. Judge Judy, you are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Kadesha Fong is suing her former landlord, Juanita Klingensmith, for stolen money and unlawful eviction, discrimination, and harassment. Order. All rise. Your Honor. This is case number 156 on the count of Nomano Fong versus Klingensmith. Thank you. You're welcome. Judge, parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Have a seat. Please, Ms. Fong, let me see if I understand your complaint. You rented an apartment from the defendant. How many apartments do you have? I have a sixplex. Your Honor, that you own? Yes. Ma'am, when did you first see the apartment? August 27th. Is that when you first met Miss C. Klingensmith? Yes. You liked the apartment. It was okay. So you decided to rent it. And the rent was how much a month? $750. And you were going to be living there with my daughter? When did the lease start? August 27th. Is that when you moved in? Yes. Is that correct? Yes. Ma'am, this is what your lawsuit is about. You claim that Miss Klingensmith stole money from your disability account, which was rent money, $750, and then evicted you for non-payment of rent. So you are suing her for that theft as well as an illegal eviction, correct? Miss Klingensmith said, I never stole any money from her. I didn't take money out of her account. She's counterclaiming for some damage that was done to the property when you moved out. Okay. Was there any security deposit? Yes. I gave her $400 security deposit. Did you get that back? No, ma'am. Okay. So you moved in August. Did you pay any rent for August? Yes. It was prorated. Okay. So you paid August rent. Is that correct? Yes, ma'am. And you paid September's rent? Yes, ma'am. On time? Yes. Is that correct? Yes. What about October? It was late due to my disability. How late? October 13th. And rent was due on the 1st. It was due on the 1st, but late after the 3rd? Late after the 3rd. Did she evict you in October? She sent me an eviction letter. Yes. In October? Yes. 2 of them. On what date? October the 6th and October the 7th. So what did you do? I ended up paying my rent on the 13th. I had my disability. I was coming from Sacramento to move to Reno, so I had to transfer over my disability payments. And it took the Social Security a minute to do that. And I told Ms. Klingensmith that when I moved in, she knew I got a disability. And this would happen, during... You can't tell me what she knew. All she knew was you paid her rent in August. And you paid her rent on time in September. And in October, you did not. Right. So after, I assume, you got these eviction notices. You called her? No, I didn't call her. Well, yeah. I called her to pay the rent on the 13th. On the 13th. So what did you do when you... Oh, I tried to speak to her a couple of times to tell her that You spoke to her. I didn't speak to her at all. You just paid your rent on the 13th. Right. I tried to get a hold of Miss Klingensmith, and I have proof of that. I tried to give her a call. When she was in the parking lot of our complex, I tried to talk to her. You paid your rent on the 13th. Yes. What happened in November? November. My money was stolen out of my account in the amount of $730. Just a second. So money was stolen out of your account in November. Yes. And the amount that was stolen was $713. Yes. So when I called Miss Klingensmith to pay my rent, when I checked my card, the money was gone. So she's the only one that had my information and my card. Because September, I gave her my debit card to take the rent off herself. She took the rent off September herself to the ATM machine. She's the only one that had my PIN. All my social, everything. My money was gone. And I have proof of that for our department. So money was gone. So she stole my money and then tried to evict me for it. Ridiculous. She was going to steal your money. She would have stolen $750, not $713. Well, I mean, if she was going to take your money without your authorization, wouldn't she have taken everything that she was entitled to? I mean, why would she want me to? I don't know. Maybe she didn't want anybody to know. I don't know why. I don't know why. If that's your whole argument, that she didn't call me at all for my rent in November. At all. And she usually calls or knocks on the door. She didn't do none of that. You told me that the only notice that you got from her in October was that on the 6th, she served you with an eviction notice. That's October. We're talking about November, right? I understand that. What do you mean? You only lived there since August. August? You paid the rent? September. You paid the rent on time. October. You did not. And you said the first you heard from her was when she served you with an eviction notice on October 6th. Okay. I missed. Okay. In October, yes, I did hear from her. She knocked on my door a few times in October. You have no case against her. You didn't pay your rent in November. Somebody. Probably in a case of identity theft. I have no idea. Okay. Messe Jejude. I have proof that I tried to pay my rent to her in November, even though my money was stolen. Just a second. I have proof of that. Just tell me when. Okay. I tried to pay. Just shh. I asked you for a date. Okay. November the 4th. I believe. I tried to pay. Just a second. Make sure you're giving me the right. You just told me you didn't have any money in your account because she had stolen your... No. Just because I didn't have any money. Okay. Just because I didn't have any money in my account from that card. I have money back. You can look at my back pay from Social Security, and my dad wrote a check for October, so I do have money to pay my rent. Just because my money was stolen out of my card doesn't mean I don't have any money. I want you to show me when you tendered her the rent in November. Okay. Can I look on my phone? Please. Absolutely. Okay. Levis 20. Well, okay. Just the date. I don't want to hear an excuse. November 12th. You're late. Your Honor. We went to court. That's why I'm late. We went to court for the eviction. She evicted me on the 4th and we went to court. The judge ordered me to pay $590 for that month of November. I have that right here from the judge. He ordered me to pay $590 for November. That was from the judge. That was on, like, the 22nd of November. So he ordered me to pay $590 for rent. And he ordered me to pay $300 starting January for the rest of my deposit. Miss Klingon-Smith was there in court when the judge ordered that. He told me I had a certain amount of time to pay it. Right. I tried to pay Ms. Klingon-Smith 3 times, and I have proof of me texting her, saying I have the rent. I had the rent. She ignored my calls. You're talking about November 22nd. Is that the date you're talking about? Is that the date that you're talking about? So just let me understand what you're saying to me. Don't talk fast. Okay. What you said to me was, I tried to give her rent on November the 4th. Now, you're saying to me that you tried to tender her the rent after the judge ordered you on November 22nd to give her a certain amount of money. Your case is dismissed. You have no case against her. You have no case that she stole any money out of your account. And you didn't pay your rent on time in October. And you didn't pay your rent on time in November. But for the fact that she sued you here, would you have counterclaimed? Yes, ma'am. You have $400 in security deposit. But she lived in the apartment in the month of November. Yes, ma'am. And you received no money for November. Correct? Okay, fine. So now you're going to tell me what the damage is. I have a list here. Your Honor, she did not issue any damages in court. Don't speak. I have utility bills that she did not put the utilities in her name. Just a minute. That's not in this counterclaim. In this counterclaim you have, I had to extensively clean the unit and repair several holes that were in the walls. She didn't pay her rent on time and made complaints about me to the Housing and Health Department. She would call my work claiming there was an emergency. She owes me for the damages, which the only thing that I have here in your countersuit are cleaning of the unit, which I will look at a bill if you have a cleaning bill. Your Honor, don't speak. Cleaning bill and pictures of holes in the wall I will look at. Those are the only things. I don't care about your emotional distress. The only ones don't speak. Those are the only things that are in your counterclaim. This is what I filed when I filed the counterclaim. I don't care what you filed. This is the only thing that's here. It's the only thing that's here. I'll show you. This is what you signed. You can read it. Your Honor, please. That's what you signed. Got it? Yes, ma'am. We're done. Unless you have a bill for the cleaning. I have a bill for my maintenance. Gentlemen, Your Honor, please let me talk really quick. I'm on her counterclaim. I'm not on your claim anymore. You have no claim for unlawful eviction. And you have no proof that she stole money. Your Honor, I'm very nervous right now. Like, really nervous. My daughter can tell you. I haven't told you everything. I'm so nervous that I don't know what to do. If you let her tell you that I did try to pay my rent in November on time, she wouldn't answer my calls. Listen to me. She didn't answer. I have proof. I tried to pay before the 30th. I tried to pay it. Then I'm not listening to her. You show me proof that you tried to tend to her payment. She didn't answer my calls on purpose. She didn't answer my phone calls. Your claim is dismissed. It's ridiculous. You want to show me a bill from your maintenance person. What about my couch that was left in there? In the house. You shouldn't have left it. She locked me out. You shouldn't have left it. Nah. Time to claim dismissed. We're done. I felt sorry for her. She was living in her car with her daughter in a motel room. In the beginning, I should have noticed how vindictive she is, and I rented the place to her, trying to help her out. The racist comments that she made towards me, and then when I didn't get the rent in October, I said, she's on my purge list. This is going to go downhill. You have to watch the movie. This is what I get for being nice and having a big heart. And now, the next case, all parties in the matter of 2 versus Swanson. Step forward. Aaron 2 is suing his ex-girlfriend, Christina Swanson, for unpaid loans and the return of his belongings. Mr. 2, it is your claim that the defendant, who is a short-term girlfriend of yours, owes you for a small loan. In addition to the loan, she has 2 items of yours. One is a barbecue grill, and the other is a laptop. Ms. Ziv Swanson says that there was never a loan and that the 2 items that you referred to were gifts from you to her. The grill you bought for $20 at some, garage sale. And the laptop was a used laptop that you gave her to use, which she is still using, along with her son. That's the case. You will have a counterclaim for harassment and stalking. By the way, do you have a police report for that stalking? No, I don't. Okay. Judge Judy continues in a moment. If you're really concerned about stalking and harassment, and you know that there are 2 things, that he wants back, why wouldn't you give it to him? Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Aaron 2 says ex-girlfriend, Christina Swanson, owes for loans and the return of belongings. Christina is countersuing for stalking and harassment. Okay, Mr. 2, you met Mrs. Swanson, according to you, on an online dating site. And that was in March of this year. When and why the first loan? The first loan was a credit card purchase for merchandise that she resells at parties and festivals. Well, tell me about it. When was it? No, don't give it to me. I'm asking. Oh, okay. It's 5/10/16, so my short while ago. And how much was that for? 205 eyed. And what store was it from? It's called Flashy Blinky Lights. Cool. So it was bought over the internet. No, she went in person. But she went in person. Yes, she did. Did you go with her? No, I did not. Did you give her your credit card? Yes, I did. Why? I loved her. And we were in a relationship, and I cared about her well-being. Right. Good. Next loan. It was not necessarily a loan to begin with. I understand. Could you move on? It was $300 that I gave her for savings. Tell me about it. It was $300 I gave her in cash that we were going to save to invest. When? May 14th. It was after I bought the property. You gave her $300 to invest. It was just to put it away. Safekeeping. So that we would be able to invest in property that I purchased. Yeah, it was just... And then, that was in May, after she had it for about 3 weeks. Okay, now we're into June. Yes, we're in June. We were in a telephone call, and she had been working, but hadn't received her paycheck. Just on a telephone call. Yes. And where was she living at the time? At her current residence? And she lives behind the guy's house. And you were living in your residence? Yes. So she called you, and it kind of went like she said that she didn't have any groceries. And I said, well, you go ahead and use the money that you have put away for us. When you get paid, go ahead and put the money back. Good. And, that's how the conversation went. What else? Oh, you mean the property that I want back? That's it for the loans. Go. Keep going. The surface. I let her borrow when she was doing resumes and looking for work. And it's not something that I use. When did I let her borrow it? Like, the exact date. It was probably May 10th, May 11th. It's hard for me to have those exact dates because a lot of that stuff was on the computer, which I don't have in my possession to reference. So you're telling me that the laptop that you let her borrow was the only laptop, computer, iPad that you own? Is that what you're telling me? Yeah. It's the only one I own. I use my cell phone for it. That's either a yes or a no. Judge Judy continues in a moment. My son sent him a message explaining to him he could come and pick his items up with the monitoring of the neighbor I have across the street. He never came. Can I see that? He did not. Yes, you can. This is the text message that my son sent him. Real cases. Real people. Judge Judy. Aaron 2 says ex-girlfriend. Christina Swanson owes for loans and the return of belongings. Christina is countersuing for stalking and harassment. Now, do you have a computer at your home? I have a desktop computer. That's what I'm asking you. So you have a computer in your home. And you started to say that you use your iPhone for the other things that you don't have to have great memory for. Correct? I don't use all those things. So in May, you let her borrow your laptop. When did you purchase the laptop? It was purchased November 27th, 2013. Your Honor. Anything else? The grill. Yes. Even though I did buy it at a yard sale for a very good price, it wasn't in very good condition, and I had to refurbish it, and I took it over to her place because I don't know if you've ever been in a fifth wheel, but listen to me. Oh, yes. I'm not interested. Okay. I'm not interested. It's over. It's over. And the only thing that I have to ask you, Ms. Swanson, is as follows. I couldn't be less interested in the purchase of $205 that you made on his credit card that he gave you. Yeah. And I couldn't be less interested in the $300 that he gave you to hold on to that you said, could I use some of that $300? And he said, sure, pay it back when you can. And I don't get started with when can you, that's not what we do here in courts. Any courts where I preside. But you have a counterclaim for harassment and stalking. Yes, I do. And two of the things that he wants, even though they're nonsense, are his grill that he paid nothing for at a yard sale. And his laptop. Why don't you just give them back to him? Well, because he gave them to me. No. So what? If you're really concerned about stalking and harassment, and you know that there are two things. Okay. And you know that there are two things that he wants back. Why wouldn't you give it to him? Originally, Your Honor, I did say I would give him the things back after he did follow us. And he did. Just a second. So why didn't you? I gave him an opportunity. He never came. What do you mean? I sent him. My son sent him a message. Excuse me. On my phone. Explaining to him that we could get together on Thursday. He could come and pick his items up. With the monitoring of the neighbor I have across the street. Okay. Can I see that? He never came. He did not. Yes. You can. I have a copy of those. Your Honor. I'd like to take a look. While she's looking, this is the text message that my son sent him. Well, did you show up when you were supposed to? When was I supposed to? Next week? We start at 6, so I'll be off at 4:30. Are you wanting to make the exchange at the sheriff's station? That works for me. If it would be easier, I could pick the things up at your place. Either way, I'm glad to settle this outside of court. Did she respond? Is there a response? No, there wasn't. Okay. Your counterclaim for stalking and harassment is dismissed. Your Honor, I will put an order in that you in the company of a marshal may retrieve your grill and your laptop within 5 days of today. Do you understand? I understand. We're done. All you got to do is step out. Judge Judy continues in a moment. I am definitely stalking her for my stuff. He was actually trying to pay for things when I told him I didn't want him to pay for things. I sent her a message saying, hey, we're over. Let me get my things back. You'll never have to see me again. He bought stuff when I said I didn't want it. My son even was there numerous times when I said, I don't want these things. And, she didn't comply. She threatened me with cops and stalking, and I said, well, I'll tell you what. I absolutely will take my time to get to know somebody for sure. If you don't give me a date and a time right now of when you're giving me my stuff, I'm filing small claims. It was a rush. It was a rush. I don't know. I think I'm a giving person and some people are takers. These items were given to me, and he doesn't deserve them back. To be honest with you, we were fighting about nonsense, and, she became and got an office. Because he's aggressive and abusive, verbally. I mean, there's plenty of trips that I paid for and meals and everything I paid for that. She wasn't appreciative for, and he shouldn't be in a relationship ever until he gets some help. Get stuff in writing. I'm just glad he's out of my life. I wanted this to be over with today. Go. I'm happy.